Thank you for that. Sorry about that. And glad that you're here. And so now, chow your mic, make sure we got it. Glad you're here. Are you good to be here?
I am happy to be here. Excited to be here.
All right.
Mic'd up.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, the mic ended up getting disconnected and it was on the floor, so they could just barely hear you. So, all right. So talk to me about women in business and how that got started and what that is.
Yeah, so I came into it on about our 4th event. So we do 4 events a year. Our old executive director, Monica, had originally started the committee. And then I took over that committee. We have a committee of 4 ladies that are on there right now. Katie Martin with Katie Martin Designs. We have Raina, who used to own About Time Boutique. She is now going to college full-time and has her family and has a full-time job. Not quite sure how she does all of that. And then we have Chelsea with Teal Cactus Jewelry and Design. So this committee of women, we all get together. And basically, we just look for great networking opportunities. And what we try to do is we do an event, normally about a 3-hour event, and we really focus on different areas for our networking. And so for us, it's important, like our next one we have coming up as for the holidays, which is always our funnest one. We do a gift exchange. We partner up with local restaurants around the area. And so the LeGrand Sir Optimist has given us a grant to be able to provide these. So the women that want to attend the events are able to pay a very small fee to get in. They get dinner, networking opportunities, and most often a lot more entertainment than they probably bargained for. But we have a really great time, and it's just such an amazing committee to be a part of to really help promote our women that are in their community.
Okay, and so let me back up, and I'm sorry for a very guy question, and that is, okay, is like, because I remember, so why is it needed? I mean, because when I look at the mix of businesses in LeGrand, many of them are women owned. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
yeah, you know what I mean? You get where I'm going. It's like, okay, I mean, I don't know. I'll answer that question, then I'll kind of follow up. Yeah.
Sure. So, women, we always tend to network a little bit differently than men.
Okay.
And so for us to be able to have a place where we feel very comfortable, like we're not competing against anything or we're not trying to prove anything. We run on different emotions than men. We have a whole different variety of things. And so for us to be able to get together with just women that understand all of the challenges that we have, kids, husbands, dogs, just life in general. And then our business is on top of that. Right. Or if you don't have a business, just a family life is super crazy. And so a lot of times, because men and women think so totally differently, it's nice to just feel like women are a lot more relaxed when they're not feeling like, oh my gosh, I've got a guy over my shoulder, or maybe I have something to prove to somebody because in the industry or, that they're in, maybe it's like one of my industries is extremely male forward. And, there's times I have to fight against that. And so being able to have just an area where women with that softer touch and just kind of understanding, you're a lot more at ease and a lot more comfortable being able to do that. And so for this committee is just really allowing women to celebrate who we really are and celebrate our businesses, celebrate us as women in our communities, and the struggles that we deal with. We talk about all different aspects, whether it's making lunches for the kids or making sure the dogs go out or the dogs get fed, to making sure that we have everything running in our business the way we need it to run. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times it's super important. And so that's why we enjoy our time away from our families. We need that time away.
Yeah. So you put your there you go.
Me and the mic.
You and the mic there. Yeah. No, you're good. You just had your arm under it, and so it was pulling on a little. So then the challenges that women face in business are different. The pressures are a little different than men. I mean, so you said which is super interesting, one of the industries that you do is very what do you call it? Male-facing? Or what?
Male-facing, male-focused, yes.
Male-focused, yeah. I mean, explain that a little bit because, and the reason I'm asking these questions is because men just don't know. I mean, I will say generally, some of this stuff we're just oblivious to, and so it helps us understand.
Sure. So, and of course, these are just what I've experienced in my opinion. So, not speaking for every woman that's out there, but In the transportation industry, which is 2 of my businesses are in transportation, where they're courier focused. So really we've made a lot of strides with women in that business. But when I very first started working with Rob Speedy Delivery, I actually had somebody call and say, I want to talk to the man in charge. And I literally said, you're talking to him. Yeah. And, just getting to, there's a lot of focuses and, being able for a female to be a leader in an industry that isn't really female focused or female leading, we're becoming more and more that way. And it's not that I'm saying it's all about women by any means, but I feel like it's important that we have our place in our businesses. We know what we're doing. We've either gone to college, we've done, life of hard knocks. We've worked our way up into a position that we have. And so sometimes we actually have to command that respect. And in order to do that, we have to be very knowledgeable in what we do. And sometimes working and networking with other women help us say, hey, I'm having this challenge with so-and-so, or with a way to respond to this. What do you think? Without having any male influence is helpful to us to be able to work together and really support each other. Not to say that men don't have their place, because absolutely they do. I could not do 90% of what I do without my husband's support. Mm-hmm. So I'm very grateful for that. But I also need that support from my lady friends and my lady business owners and just people that are like my cheerleaders, behind me going, yes, you can do it, you can do it. And, there's times in industries that, transportation's a really, I guess, a good point for that, is you just don't see a ton of women in that industry. Right. And so just being able to have those networks is super important. Yeah, no, and I guess for me, I see that. I see the value of women being involved in different aspects of my life. I have a great appreciation for my wife and what it is she does, but I value when she's involved in the business. I value, and she's half. We're partnership. It's an LLC organized that way, and so, but her input is super valuable. It brings another perspective. And so I value women and their input into to boards. We spent quite a bit of time before the show talking about boards and the LeGrand Main Street board and the impact of that. So sometimes when there's women forward organizations, for lack of a better term, I don't see the need, because I already have in me, I see the value already. Mm-hmm. But I can certainly understand where that's not the case in some. I have a friend who has a roofing business, and his main dispatcher is a woman, and sure, and it takes some time if she's calling a contractor and so on and so forth and trying to get them. There takes a certain amount of persuasion for them to be convinced that, hey, she's the boss and they're accountable, and if they want the job, they better talk to her. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. So what kind of activities do you do? So then it sounds like the value in the ladies getting together is that you get to hang around with each other. Is that right? That's exactly it. So we kind of get to leave everything at the door, or great weeks, crummy weeks, whatever you name it. We just get to network. So we generally will do an icebreaker just so we get to know each other. We always tend to have new ladies come. So people that we don't already know. We have a lot of ladies that we do already know that come every month or every quarter. They look super forward to these events and they're awesome. And then we have new people that are like, hey, we want to find out what you guys are doing. We want to check out everything that's going on. So just those really great networking opportunities. And, I think the value of networking, and one of the things that I found within my own companies, is not looking at other businesses necessarily as the competition, but how can you guys work together? So we're in a really small community. And so one of my businesses, we do t-shirts and clothing and that sort of thing. We already have some really established businesses here in town. One of the machines that I offer can actually offer them a great solution to make it faster, easier, and they're not having to do a lot of the manual labor that they have to normally do. So we've partnered. I give them a wholesale rate. I make some money. They make some money. In all aspects of life, they would be competition. And we've been able to really become where we work together. So, and that's important. And these events really focus on how do you collaborate with folks in small communities, and how do you better each other's businesses, whether you're in the same industry or you're in a different industry. And so just having those opportunities to really network is the key. And figuring out ways to work together is just vital. And that's what these events do.
So give me an example of some of the things, some of the events that you have been doing.
So, well, we do 4 a year as
Okay.
far as the Women in Business Committee itself. And so our up and coming one is going to be our holiday one. So this one's always our funnest one. We're doing it at the Barrel Room over in Island City. Island City Market and Deli is catering it for us. So we have a great meal. We'll do a really fun mixer, and then we're going to do a gift exchange. So that one's just a lot of fun. And then, you know, we've had our past one we just had in October was over at Springs Bakery, and she made the most incredible soup and sandwiches for us. It was awesome. And then all we did was talk. Each lady in the group went and they had about 5 minutes to talk about their business. Some of us talked longer than others, but because a lot of times we just don't know, and you want to network with everybody, but sometimes you just don't get that opportunity. So everybody went around the group and talked about the what their business did, who they were, especially upcoming for the holidays. Super important. Like, we want people to support our local businesses, and we want them to know what we offer. And so that was really, really valuable to a lot of our members. The event prior to that was a networking event, and we focused on media and the importance of making sure you had a logo, making sure you understood how to promote your business and that sort of thing. So just a lot of tips and tricks. So most likely our first quarter of next year, we'll focus on kind of financials. We'll probably bring in a financial specialist and have them talk to the group about planning for this upcoming year and making sure that they've got all their stuff for their taxes. A lot of these women that do attend, we have all different sizes of companies. So we have your homemakers that have great crafting events and things that they do, and then we have CEOs and business leaders and educators. So we kind of have a really great mix. And it's just important to kind of focus on those different things that we all struggle with and need help with in our businesses.
And talk to me about that. You're trying to reach all women, not necessarily if they own a business. I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I feel like we're all each other's customers, and we're all each other's support system. So we need cheerleaders whether they own a business or they don't own a business. And I think that's a lot of misperceptions that we've had within in the committee, and we've talked about it multiple times. We're not looking for only women that own businesses. I know it's called Women in Business, but if you shop at a business, you're a woman in business, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you're part of that community, it's important. We want to hear from every aspect, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, which is super vital to our youth and our young kids. That's a full-time job and a half. I don't know how moms do it, honestly. I have dogs, and that's more than enough for me. But it's just important that we have all perspectives, because then that helps every one of us grow and become stronger, and we can be cheerleaders for each other. And that's super important. So any lady that's out in the community that wants to just come and network and get to know some really great folks, that is what this is for.
That's awesome. So let's back up just a little bit, because I want to talk about your story a little bit, because you have I guess we've probably known each other for 10 years. Yeah. Has it been that long?
A little bit longer, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, our business is going to be 15 years old this year. And so yeah, it has been longer than that. But you've migrated from being an employee to a business owner. Mm-hmm. And I mean, talk about that journey a little bit, and maybe some of the perspectives that have changed over the years. Yeah.
So it's been really interesting. So in 2011, I actually transferred here with the newspaper industry. I had done that for several years in Colorado and Northern California, and transferred up here with the Observer. And I was brought in when they decided to take the paper from 5 days down to 3. I moved here from California. I had a little dog with pink hair, and I had a little green Kia Soul, and I was weird. I was taking their paper from 5 to 3 days. So I learned that I was the probably least popular person in the community at the time. And what I found is I had to throw myself into the community. So I volunteered with the Chamber. I volunteered with LeGrand Main Street, both two organizations I'm super passionate about, small business downtown. Fast forward a little bit, my neighbor had a courier company, and I saw where he had some needs and some different things. He was just kind of up and coming. And I said, you know what, if you'll hire me, this is what I'm going to do. Fast forward, he ended up hiring me. We ended up getting married. We have a business together, Rob Speedy Delivery. And really being able to focus on connecting our outlying communities into rural. So, we cover Portland, Boise, Tri-Cities every day. And we can bring stuff last minute here to our community. I then became an equity partner with a larger company out of Vancouver, Washington. I'm also the COO of that company. We're nationwide. So really being able to expand. And I think what's really come down to is my parents gave me one heck of a work ethic. And I've always been one, if the answer is no, that just means next opportunity. And I've had a lot of no's in my life, and I've had a lot of great success, but that's also become because I've had great cheerleaders and folks that have helped. Then moving into our car wrapping graphic design business, it was more one we just started out with a friend, kind of as a side thing, something we really loved. And, ended up, we bought all the machines to do it, found that we absolutely loved doing it. And so we've purchased multiple other machines, and we've expanded into shirts and anything we can do, hard surfaces, soft surfaces. We can pretty much hit the gamut on any marketing, or if you just want like a one-off t-shirt or something funny that you see, we're able to provide that too. So going from an employee standpoint to a business owner was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done. However, because you just don't know, oh, I don't have insurance now, I don't have this, I don't have that. I mean, you have to take that step back and go, is this worth taking this leap of faith or is it not? A lot of prayers went up, believe you me. But just really trusting God and leaning on the faith that I have in God, and then being able to really, have those people behind me that were like, you know what, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And I'm glad I did. I mean, it's been there's scary moments and stressful moments, and there's really exciting moments. And I think for me, probably one of the most exciting things is just being so community focused and really being able to help the community, be part of the community. As a business owner, that is one thing I would highly recommend. Make yourself known, make sure you reach out to everybody you can to volunteer. I mean, and I know it's a hit personally. There's times it's like, I don't want to be at a meeting at 8:00 at night or 7:00 at night, but you're never going to, I didn't say never, but your chances of growing faster and making those connections. I always say relationships first, business second. I feel like if you build a relationship with individuals, then they will get to know what your business is, and then they'll come and talk to you. I am not more turned off by people that are all just business in your face all the time. Well, sometimes I just want to know who you are as a person.
Right.
What do you like, Brent? What do you guys enjoy? Where are you at? And so I've learned that building relationships is number one, and then the business will follow.
Yeah. Good. Awesome. So what do you say to people is like, I want to be my own boss and start a business?
Are you willing to give up every aspect of your personal life for the next 5 to 10 years? Are you willing to take a call at 2 a.m.? Are you willing to, when an employee doesn't show up or a customer calls you last minute and says, hey, I totally dropped the ball and I have to have this in 2 hours? Are you able to make the impossible happen?
Right.
And if the answer to any of those is no, I would really rethink starting a business.
Right. I tell people, like, when they say, I want to be my own boss, it's like, I don't think you understand. You're going from one boss to everybody being your boss, everybody, every customer. I mean, if your business is customer centered, then you've got a lot more people to please.
Absolutely. And you just have to be willing, like I said, to do the impossible. I mean, there's times that's in, in all of any of the businesses we have, a lot of those last minutes fall into place, and it's like, and that's where I get more repeat customers, because there's ways that we can just make it happen. And yeah, that means a personal sacrifice from myself or my husband or both of us. I mean, it's not, and I hear the saying every now and then, an emergency on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on mine. And I think that's one of the worst business sayings ever. And I understand where people come from on that, but I live for those emergency situations. Let me be your rock star. Let me see you through what feels like an impossibility to you, because the customer is going to remember that. And when you're in a business that's constantly competing, or you're trying, first off, you're going to build that relationship even stronger with somebody. And, but you have to be willing to, eat a cold dinner, drink a cold coffee. It's just, there's a lot of sacrifices that business owners, put out that do a lot, and a lot of times people just don't realize that. But when you can make that happen, the relationship with your client grows, and your ability to, they spread that word, and that just builds your business over and over and over. So if you're really looking to start a business, you've got to be able to figure out what that time investment's going to look like, and what you're willing to do. And, there may be a point you're not willing to do X, Y, and Z, but you've got to communicate. You've got to make sure your customer understands what your expectations are. And then, you just eat, breathe, and sleep it. There's days I joke, okay, honey, are we eating ramen noodles today? Or are we going to go
Right.
for, Coast Steakhouse? What are we doing? But, if we don't have those valleys, we can't appreciate the mountaintops either. So, and you've got a lot of valleys and a lot of mountaintops when you're in business.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of our business is managing the expectations of our customers. If we're one of the big questions that we ask people, when they want us to create a video for them is the first thing I tell them is like, okay, well, if you go to if you go to a contractor and you say, will you build a house for us? The first thing the contractor says is, show me the floor plan. So it's we got to have a floor plan first. But then also one of the things is I ask them, we'll find a video on YouTube that you like the look of and send it to me, because then I can get an idea of what they're actually visualizing in their head. But it's really, they might only have $10,000 and they showed me a $100,000 video, right. And so helping them scale down to what is reality. That's a big part of what it is that we do all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what happened inside of you when you were an employee? Did you come from a small business family, or what made you move this direction?
That's really funny. So absolutely not. My dad is a preacher.
Okay.
My mom was a stay-at-home mother. And both of them are very, very mild mannered individuals. Where my brother and I came from, I have no idea. I've always been extremely driven, though, in life. If I wanted something, that was one thing that parents always told us is, we'll put shoes on your feet and we'll put clothes on your back. But if you want anything other than Kmart or thrift store, you kids will have to work for it.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized the value of a pair of Nike shoes, and realized that wasn't something I wanted to spend my hard-earned money on. So I think I've always just been extremely driven for success. And, I like the comfort zone of being an employee, but I always felt like I didn't want somebody else to control my destiny. So, work harder, do more, and do more. But I didn't really see any of the rewards from my hard-earned work. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. I know that I'm a smart cookie, and I know that if I make a mistake, I'll pay for the mistake myself, but I'm no risk, no reward. So I just decided that I was going to branch out and just take the leap. And worst comes to worst, I could always go, find another job if I had to. They're out there. If you're willing to work, they're able to do it. But if I didn't take the risk to at least attempt something, and then continue to really push myself and my teams. I've been fortunate enough to have amazing people on our teams that we would not be where we are today if we didn't have those individuals. backing us up. You know, every employee that we have that works for us, we try to work side by side with them as much as we can. And they're incredible. Like, no business owner, no matter how much we want to say we're great, we're awesome, whatever, if we don't have the support of our team members, we wouldn't have a business.
So let's talk about your delivery business for just a minute, because it is a little unique, and you don't really have competition in that area, in this area. I mean, in that business. So, but it is extremely. I mean, you know, we hear about the wars between Amazon and FedEx and the other brown one. I can't. Yeah. UPS, and USPS. Okay, so there's just this huge market, and everybody. Why that business? I mean, but still, if I want to get a package from here to Pendleton, there aren't many options. I mean, what kind of made you center in on that, which is a little interesting? So, I would say that I wouldn't ask this question if we had other competing agencies even in town, because that wouldn't be fair. But you guys are pretty unique. So.
Yeah, so my husband really, he started just kind of doing like a DoorDash several years ago. And we just ended up morphing into, we really focus on the pharmaceutical world. So we work with closed door pharmacies based out of Portland and Boise. And we bring pharmaceuticals from West Side and from Boise to our nursing homes locally here. We've also been asked to do emergency lab runs. We have contractors that, because we're already in the area. So for you to put an employee in a vehicle, send them down to Boise and come back, it's a minimum 5 or 6 hours, right?
Right.
So, you're already out that employee cost, plus your fuel, plus your vehicle, plus you've got all the insurance costs. I mean, there's just a lot of costs, if you think about it, to put an employee down to go. So it makes sense to give us a call and say, hey, can you throw in this 25-pound package? What's the rate? We give it a rate. We generally have that turned around. So if you called me at 10 o'clock last night and needed something out of Boise, I'd have it to you by noon today. And just being able to, really, that's what we focused on. And then the other aspect is our box truck. We have a couple of large trucking companies. They're like, we don't want to go over to Cabbage Hill, especially not in the winter. We don't want to do it no dice. Right. Because if they have a lot of different, we still are with the federal motor carrier and all of that, but because we run under 26,000 pounds, we don't have all of the exact same rules and regulations, and we return home the same day. So we come over the hill, we go back, come over the hill, go back. So if the road closes, I can either put the driver in a hotel or he can wait it out a little bit. Whereas if a semi driver and the road closes and they run out of hours, they're done. They're until the next day, and it just costs the company so much more. So finding that niche that they really needed to be able to get stuff over the hill, the larger freight and stuff, was a great opportunity for us. So we bought the truck. The driver came with the truck at that time, and it worked out great.
You own the driver?
So, well, I wish. Actually, the driver came with the truck. He stayed with us about 9 years, and he as he said when he retired and left, his butt had been in that truck for like 20 years total, because he worked for the prior company. And then we have a really great truck driver now. I mean, like I can't stress enough how amazing our teams are, and just how fortunate we are that they understand that we're not just delivering pizzas, we're delivering life-saving medication to patients, and we run 24/7. So we run day and night, which then opens up that opportunity for other folks to get something thrown in there, added on, to be able to get to their business in a very reasonable time frame and very reasonable cost.
Yeah.
99.9% of the time, it's a lot cheaper to have us take it than an employee.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever been asked to deliver?
I got asked to deliver a box of spiders and snakes, and I declined.
Why?
I said, absolutely not. I would
Why?
not do spiders and snakes. That is
Were you
not
the
up my
driver?
alley. That is just so
You just
far
didn't
out
want
of
it
my
in the
alley.
truck, or what? The driver didn't want it? Or?
No, I didn't want it. I didn't want to be
Okay,
responsible for snakes and spiders.
Let's go to this. What's the weirdest thing that you've accepted?
Oh boy. Gosh.
Like body parts or like? Have you ever delivered like organs for like
we have.
transplant?
Yep, we have. And those are super vital.
100%.
You know, and then we do emergency kits. So, you know, and they're super temperature controlled. So you can't, like, especially in the heat and stuff, they can't get over a certain temp. And so we've done different various steps to make sure that those meds stay the way that they need to stay. So there's just a lot of regulations when you're dealing with pharmaceuticals as well, and expensive. And then, you know, we have contracts where we do computer parts. So Amazon's big over in the Boardman area, and if the server goes down, the cloud goes down, or anything like that, we have to get these emergency parts over there ASAP. So there's a lot of urgency, and we literally live by the minute. I mean, I'll have a plan to do something on Friday night, and that plan goes out the door if, you know, we have some kind of emergency come up or something like that. So,
Because sometimes, are you driving all times?
not. I used to drive a lot more than I do now.
Yeah.
I don't have to drive as much. I do fly quite a bit, only from the aspect of the company that I'm an equity partner in and the COO of. I do make a lot of connections outside of the area to help grow that company and work with my sales team and stuff for that. So that is the aspect of what I travel. Rob likes to drive a lot more than I do. And then we have great team members. So knock on wood, if somebody's out sick or something happens, then it'll generally be Rob or myself. But I don't tend to like to be on the road as much.
So, and I've watched your social media, and you tend to go through quite a few vehicles. Is that right? Yeah, I mean,
we do.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, I mean, when you're running a 24/7, 365 operation,
Right.
a Deere, you know, just random things are going to happen.
Right.
You know, lose an engine in the big track. I mean, those are all part of business. And when you're on the road as much as we are, we're very fortunate to be as safe as we are. But yes, we have had some accidents that have happened, and we have gone through that. And insurance is not cheap.
I would, yeah, for that business, I can imagine not. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, and that, going back to the business thing, there's a lot of people that non-business owners have no idea that, you know, if we did nothing, if nobody came in the office for an entire month and all we did was just pay the base, you know, it is insurance and utilities and rent, and if we had no productivity whatsoever, you know, probably be about $5,000 a month. Just,
easy.
Yeah. You know, and so it's crazy, just the obstacle that you have to get over just to make any profit, you know, or to make any money to pay the expenses, the other expenses that you have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think we're constantly working it, because you just never know. Like, even if we get a little comfortable, I'm like, nope, let's see what else we can go after. Let's see what else we can do, you know. And that's where it's like the wrap company and graphic stuff, you know, it's like that can sometimes supplement if we have a lower month on the delivery side or something. We have our normal everyday routes. So that's, you know, kind of the bread and butter. But there's times when, you know, sets of tires, you have to do tire changeovers for the season. That's super expensive on 28 vehicles.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you've got oil changes, you've got vacation time that you're paying for. So you're paying, you know, an employee time and a half and an employee to be out on vacation. There's just a lot of varied expenses that come up. And so, you know, we have multiple avenues because we don't want to throw all of our eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And we just feel it's super, super important to make sure we take really good care of our people and just make sure that we, you know, and that's our employees and our customers, you know, and that's, I think that gets you further than anything in life a lot of times as business owners, because you can be the best person at business and numbers, but a terrible boss. And it's important to be able to focus on being grateful for your team and doing little things for them. I can't stress that enough.
Good. All right. Well, let's come back to the ladies in business. When's your next event? And give a shout out to people that might be interested.
Absolutely. So it is December 12th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. We are doing the gift exchange. It will be at the Barrel Room, which is over in Island City, right next to the Island City Market in Delhi. It's their little, the Vine Barrel Room in there. It'll be fully catered. So your ticket gets you a drink, whether that's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, your dinner, and then the networking opportunity. The tickets are $10 a piece. Again, the Seroptimists of LeGrand are the ones that have heavily supported us through a grant that we've received. And so we're able to pay the other half. So essentially we pay the facility $20 plus we give them a tip. And then the overage of that, from the difference between your $10 and the cost of it, is what the Seroptimist has paid for. And then bring a gift with you valued between $20 and $25. And the gift can come from your business. If you have a business, it absolutely can come from your business. We just ask that, hey, make it fun, make it something people are going to want to fight over. If you ever been in gift exchanges, which I'm sure you both have, they are super fun. And so, like, in my brain, I always try to think of something that's really cool, different, and fun that everybody's going to want.
Yeah.
Where can you get tickets?
So we have it online. We've been promoting it primarily on social media, Facebook, Instagram, RSVP. We also do our mailing list. So anybody that's on our mailing list has already been on there. But right now it's really through social media. And that is, we have a Facebook group, Women in Business, LeGrand Main Street. We also have LeGrand Main Street's Facebook page, as well as our newsletter and that sort of thing through LeGrand Main Street. And we'll be promoting heavily with any of our businesses that we have as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great. Well, Kat, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to talk about it, and hopefully I didn't bore everybody too much.
Yeah. Oh, no, not at all. Yeah. Thanks so much. Well, hey, you want to get us out of here, then?
On this day, November 12th, 1859, Jules Leotard performs the first flying trapeze circus act. He also designed the garment that bears his name. Same guy. Yeah, the leotard was designed by a guy that did flying trapeze. I never knew that. 1920, Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis is elected the first baseball commissioner by team owners. What a name, huh? Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's some Indian in there.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Is that PC to say Indian? If you are Indian?
Yeah.
Native American? Well, yeah, okay. 1933, first known photo of so-called Loch Ness Monster. It's taken by Hugh Gray. We were talking about that the other day, the Loch Ness of Wallowa Lake, if there is one. 1966, Buzz Aldrin takes the first space selfie. A photo of himself performing extravehicular activity in space during the Gemini program.
66.
There's the picture.
Wow. Yeah.
Right there. Buzz Aldrin. Yeah. 1990, the World Wide Web is first proposed by CERN computer scientists Tim Berners-Lee and Robert Callao. 2019, Disney launches its film and television streaming services, Disney+. 2021, an LA judge rules to end Britney Spears' conservatorship, which had controlled almost all aspects of her life for 14 years. Best thing that ever happened to that girl. It was great. It needed to happen. On this day, the #1 movie in America in 1984, The Terminator. And then the quote of the day comes from Dwight Howard. Today is a new day. Even if you were wrong yesterday, you can get it right today.
Yeah, that's
One
true.
more time. Today is a new day. Even if you were wrong yesterday, you can get it right today.
All right.
That's
Good
it.
stuff.
Yeah, don't forget, soccer tonight, 5 o'clock, Community Stadium. Go support these girls in their semifinal game against North Marion as they try to win a state championship. It's pretty exciting. They're pretty good. They're ranked #2 in the state.
All right. Hey, thank you, Kat, for being
Once
here.
again, thanks. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it. So we'll see you right here. George Mendoza will be with
Thursday.
us on Thursday. Yep. Thanks.